Hello, everyone, and welcome to Find Happiness. It's a show where we go up close and personal with our guests, and we talk about their careers, relationship, and life in general, and any challenges that they have gone through in life and how they overcame it and their defining moments. Today, we have no other person than this amazing young man sitting right next to me, multi-talented. He's a tech billionaire. He's a filmmaker, and he's an ex-BB Naija housemate. But Angel, though, tech billionaire? Like, the last I checked, you were ex-BB Naija housemate. Yeah. How did you find your way into tech? Because wait, so I know that tech people, they're the ones running the world right now. They are really rich. I see where the billionaire comes in. Please tell me what's going on.
Okay, well, first off, I am a billionaire, but the $1 billion which I have, I don't have access to yet. But when it comes, I will send you your own shit. I get time. Yeah.
Please don't forget me.
Yeah, so I've been in tech for a couple of years now. Maybe I've been fully in tech for let's say 3 years.
Oh wow!
I'm a programmer. I build apps, software, and all kinds of stuff to help make people's lives easier.
Great. So filmmaking. Have you stopped making films?
Oh yeah, I retired from filmmaking, was it last year? Yeah, I'm retired mostly. Now I just teach filmmaking and shoot for selected multinational brands, but I'm not actively involved in that anymore.
Okay, so what was life for you before BB Naija? Because I didn't even know you were a filmmaker. So what was life for you before BB Naija? Were you a filmmaker before BB Naija or after BB Naija, or how?
Well, yeah, my filmmaking journey started in the late 2000s. I was a gaffer at some point, just trying to find my way around the industry. Then I was privileged to attend the New York Film Academy. I became a director in 2010.
Wow.
So I've been directing since 2010.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, So going into the house, I was a filmmaker. And leaving the house shortly after, I retired from filmmaking.
Wait, so we thought you didn't have it together when you were in Big Brother. Meanwhile, you had it all together. Like in 2010, you were in New York Film School.
Yeah.
Angel.
Yes, sir.
So that means you were not living your real life in Big Brother now.
Well, to be honest, the version of me that was in that house wasn't the real me. Nah. And I said it in our reunion show. I was the fakest housemate on that set because I didn't want people to know me completely. That see finish something. Nigeria does not know me. People who know me and people who don't know me, the versions of Angel they talk about are very different, and I would like to keep it that way. So the version that they know, they can keep that. Well, now we know me. Well, I know the one I know.
Okay, so I know that you've been through certain challenges in life and one or two crises. I would like you to share with us and share with the world, and tell us all about it, and tell us how you were able to find your happiness eventually from it. Walk your way out of it.
Oh well, yeah. In recent times, especially, I've dealt with a lot of loss. I've lost both my parents in recent years, buried them both, and I've had to deal with other losses, which I'm not ready to share here.
Okay.
But all in all, it's been a very difficult road for me. So what I do to find happiness is I channel all that energy into my work and into creativity. So I channel it and I use it as fuel, because there were people in my life who tried to hurt me, who tried to amplify the hurt.
Okay.
For whatever reason, whether you call it envy, whether you call it, I don't know what it is, But what I take all the pain that I've been through, all the betrayals, all the hardships, and I channel it into my work, which is why I'm always working.
Okay.
Which is why I was able to become a programmer in a very short period of time. I'm into graphics design. I'm into everything, pretty much. I don't do them professionally. Like, you can't ask me to design anything for you. I won't do it, but I design for myself.
Okay.
Naturally. Yeah, but I was able to channel that into learning, which is why I focus on teaching and learning, because that is how you grow. And growth is the best way, from my experience, to find happiness. Because when you grow and you realize that where you are isn't where you're coming from, that's where that joy, we're not even talking happiness anymore, that's where that inner joy comes from. You know, some people will say, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I was.
Used to be.
Do you understand? So that is my mindset every day. That's why I would always tell you I am a billionaire, even if the account balance doesn't say that. Yeah, the account balance may not say, but you argue with me, that's a you problem. You get that? Because financially I'm not where I used to be, and I'm on that journey going there, and that keeps me happy.
Okay. So at the time that you were going through any of those crises, the loss of your parents and those other things you don't want to share just yet, did you happen to feel depression in any form whatsoever? Were you lonely? Did you feel like life was over? You like you couldn't go on anymore? Like, where do you go from here, you know?
I've never been depressed, but I have been tired.
Okay.
I've been tired because, and I think this is the first time I'm saying this in public,
Okay.
but it feels like my entire life all I've done is fight.
Oh my goodness.
Like I've never had a single moment of peace. You know, and that's a tough way to live. You know, so there are times when it's more frustration than depression. It's like, I'm tired of fighting, man. I just need a break, you know? But whenever I get to that point, I ask myself, why are you fighting? What are you fighting for? And the answer to that question gives me the jolt I need to keep moving. So whenever, and this is to the viewers, whenever you're feeling depressed or you feel like you want to give up, or you're feeling like you need to throw in the towel, ask yourself, why do you fight? Because for me, life is war. That's why it feels like all my life I've been fighting, and that's my mindset. It's war. So when you're in a war, you have to know why you're fighting. If not, then the war doesn't make sense. If not, then you can get tired. There was a period when I started learning programming, I used to work for like 15, 16 hours a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I used to sleep very little. Even now I still sleep very little. You can see from my face that I'm not a big sleeper, you know. You should sleep 7 hours a day though. You know, but I'm going to get to that point in my life where I can. But for now, it's still war. So the best way I would advise for people to cope with that is remember what you're fighting for. Remember who you're fighting for. Keep that image in front of your face all the time, and you'll pull through. I promise you.
You know, I used to say sometimes that one of the real secrets to happiness is progress. Like, you just have to keep going. You just have to keep going. You can't stop. Because the moment you just feel like at this point it's over, and then you just recline, and then you're tired and it's all over to you, that's when like the depression thingy really just comes in, and then throws you, like puts you down, and then that's it. Now at those times that you felt, I mean, you said you were never depressed, but you were tired. Now for your own case, I would say maybe there's a thin line between depression and tired.
I don't know, because it lasted for like a second, like literally a second, like it's a second, you know, it's so short. And I know depression is like a periodic thing, so yeah, it might be the same emotion, but the duration is why I wouldn't call it depression, because it's such a short period.
Okay, you know that there are a lot of young people, young, old, you know, matured, that are going through so much right now with the country, the economy of the country, maybe their jobs, so many things, nothing is working, you know, and all of that. Like at the moments that we're speaking, and they probably will even watch this, and they're going through so much. Can you tell them how you think they should fight whatever it is that they're going through? Maybe how you fought yours. It could just be like a survivor guide to someone else.
You need to find out, it still boils down to the why. You need to find out why you're doing whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing a job that stresses you, if you're doing a job you cannot do for 16 hours, stop it, no matter how much you're getting paid. If you can't work 16 hours without pay, I was working 16 hours a day without pay.
Okay.
Without pay. In fact, to be honest, tech hasn't even started paying me yet. I'm still living off filmmaking.
Okay. Wow.
Facts. I left filmmaking to do tech, and the tech I left filmmaking for hasn't really started paying me. Tech cannot pay my bills now. I live off filmmaking, but I know where tech will take me. So I'm committing 16-hour days to something that is not giving me money. It's taking money. So you can only do that when you have a clear picture of where you are going and you understand why you are doing it. So whenever you feel depressed, ask yourself, what are you doing now? And if you had no obstacles, if you had no problems, would you be doing what you are doing now? Are you doing because now waiting just day, or because you see the end as a place you want to go? When you envision your future self, is that person doing that thing that you are doing now? Because most of the time depression comes from lack of fulfillment, and other times it comes from a feeling of rejection. And I like to tell people this, that nobody can reject you in this life. The only person who can reject you is you. Same way nobody can cheat you. The only person that can cheat you is you. Because you can either see it as this person rejected me, or you can see it as God spared me from something that would have destroyed me. Perspective. It's the same situation, but how you see it matters. So what I would advise to anybody is turn your 6 to a 9, change your perspective. Try to look at things from the point of view of a man who knows where he's going. And if you're finding difficulty in doing that, open your mouth every day and say to yourself, if this is what you want, look in the mirror and say, I am a billionaire. You go every you from out the first 2 days. And when someone introduces you, how are you? Say, hi, my name is Angel, I'm a billionaire. Talk on. They'll come look your shoe. When they look your shoe now, they're gonna say, you know, it's gonna speak to you, but it's gonna change the way you think and the way you see the world. And you will get there. That thing you want to do, just speak it into existence. Okay,
so have you ever been in situations where you expect your happiness to come from people? You expect people to make you happy? Because I've had one or two sayings that say you're the only one who can make yourself happy. No one can make you happy. You have to first make yourself happy before another person can even make you happy. Have you ever, at any point in time when you were going through your crisis, felt like you need people around you, maybe parents, maybe siblings, maybe family, maybe you were once married, right? Correct. Maybe wife, you know, like you just needed them to give you that happiness that you so strongly desire. Have you ever been in that situation? Because I know that there are lots of people who are in that situation.
Growing up as a child, I was always an outcast. I was always this different child. I was this guy who'd never fit in with anybody. So I was the guy that used to call, oh, he's a weirdo. He is. So there was a period in my life where all I wanted to do, all I wanted to be was accepted. I needed that validation from people. But growing up further than that, I now realized that I was a swan amongst ducks. If you know the story of the ugly duckling, that story really resonated with me growing up, because I was comparing myself to people who were a different breed of animal. I won't say a lesser breed of animal, but we were just different. I was a swan, they were ducks. And simply because swans and ducks look alike, they expected a swan to behave like a duck. And when the swan didn't behave like a duck, they called the swan weird. But I wasn't weird, I was just a swan amongst ducks. So when I grew to accept that growing up, I now had to look inward, and I realized that I don't really need people. Right now, I don't have friends, man. I got my friends I have are few. I said my friends are very, very few, like super few. Because really, you don't need anybody to do anything. You know, I get criticized for saying this thing a lot. This is a very arrogant thing, but I say it all the time. I said, see me, Angel, I don't need anybody. I need people, but I don't need anybody. What that means is you need human beings to get where you're going. But there's no particular person that is a God in your life that if that person is not there, your life will be destroyed. That kind of person no day.
Correct.
Do you understand? That's my philosophy. So you need to realize out there that salvation you are looking for is inside. You don't need a spouse for it. You don't need your parents for it. You just need to accept yourself that you may be a lion amongst dogs. You may be a dog amongst lions, and that's okay. You may be a cat amongst pigs. You may be a fish amongst monkeys. So there's no validation a monkey can give a fish that would be right for the fish, because that's not where you belong. So you need to take time to understand yourself, then look for your people.
And that way you completely be happy.
Yeah.
But if you're not happy before
within you, you can't get it elsewhere.
What do you think about people who, like, I've had instances where I hear people say, oh, I just want to get married and I'll be so happy. I want to have a baby and I'll be so happy. I want to buy a house. I'll be so happy. Like, they just tie their happiness to things that has not happened for them yet. And then when they do get married, then they're not happy. And it's like, why did I even get married? And then when the baby comes, maybe they're not even happy anymore or satisfied. When they buy the house, the car, whatever, it doesn't even make them happy again eventually. Like, what do you think about that? Because sometimes it just feels really, really weird to me. Like, I feel like happiness is not, I don't know. I feel like you just have to find your own happiness on your own without having to attribute it to anybody, or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the truth is, a lot of us, the grass to most of us in this side of the world, the grass is always greener on the other side. We always look at it from a stained glass sort of perspective, where it's colored. People need to realize that, especially when you don't have sufficient information. I know a lot of people who say, I just want to get married, everything will be fine. Yeah. But you see, that's the wrong mindset to take into a marriage, because you think that someone is going to come and fill the holes in your life, but remember, that person has his own holes too. So if you bring a hole and he brings a hole, then you guys don't have one thing, you guys have two holes. But if you bring a hole and he brings a hole, then you have two holes. I don't know if you get the use. Yeah. So when you feel that emptiness, I feel people should deal with their baggage first before getting involved with other people. If not, you would project your insecurities, your negativities, and your pain on the other person, and you might damage a perfectly good person because you're too toxic. A lot of us don't want to admit to ourselves when we're the toxic one. It's always the other person. But sometimes the problem is you, and you need to fix yourself first. That's why Jesus said, remove the log in your eye. Log, big, before you look at the speck
in another person's.
So that's why Jesus said, remove the log, big log, from your eye before you go for the speck. The speck is just little in the next person's eye. So what Jesus was trying to say with that is, your problem is the biggest problem that you have to deal with, that you have to solve. Jesus would also tell you, love your neighbor as yourself. How can you love your wife when you don't love yourself? How can you love your husband when you don't love yourself? So people take the teachings of Jesus a little too spiritually. A lot of people are too spiritual with the teachings of Jesus. So what I would advise is self-mastery, self-improvement. Focus on building yourself. Focus on growth. That's how to find happiness. Right.
Yeah, so in all of those things that you've said, your challenges, your crisis, and everything that you've been through in life, if you're to go back in time and you can do some things or one thing correctly or differently, what would you do differently?
Well, that is one butterfly I don't want to step on.
Okay.
So I'm not going to step on that butterfly.
Okay. Does that mean you don't want to talk about what you're going to do differently?
No, it's the butterfly effect. You know how when you change one thing, then there's a ripple effect and every other thing changes. So if I change one thing, I might not be this person. And my life might take a turn that would be disastrous. So it's a butterfly I'm not going to step on.
So you're basically just saying everything works together for
perfectly,
good.
yes.
And then it now made you this tech billionaire.
Yeah, this is who I'm meant to be. Everything I did is what I was meant to do. It was my journey and I own it.
Great. Thank you so much, Angel, for coming to hang out with us today and sharing your story with people. I'm sure that all of those things you've said, one person would just resonate with one person and probably be like a survival guide kit for them to, move on with their lives and all of that. Thank you so much, Angel, for coming on the Find Happiness show to share your story with everyone who is going to watch this. And thank you so much. I mean, you never know who your story is going to touch. I feel like it's going to touch so many people. Life is just very fickle. So many people are going through so many different things, and they will just pick one or two things that will probably just resonate with them and help them through whatever challenges they are going through at the moment. Thank you so much. But before you go, please tell our audience your social media handle. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in this kind of stuff I talk about, I have a podcast called the Billionaire Podcast. And you can find it on YouTube. My channel is Angel the Brand. Also on Instagram, I am Angel the Brand. Okay. Twitter, I am Angel the Brand. 1. Snapchat, Angel the Brand. 1. And TikTok, Angel the Brand. 1. So just basically just Angel the Brand. You guys Angel the Brand. Yeah, you can't miss type it. Angel the Brand. Yes, what's up? Yeah. And guys, so I'm just gonna say this. Sometimes we go through so much in life, like life will just deal you a blow that you would not even be able to understand what is going on, and it feels like you're lost and you can't even move on from the spot where you are. Just find the little things that make you happy. It could just be going to the beach and just sitting down and looking at the water. It could just be taking a run. It could be watching the sunset. It could be anything, no matter how small, as long as it makes you happy. First of all, you cannot try to find your happiness from anyone. You have to be responsible for your happiness. You need to know that, like, nobody can make you happy. You have to first make yourself happy before another person can now, fill that void, like, no matter how. And if you try to lean on someone to make you happy, at some point, and the person leaves, that void will come back. So why don't you just try to find what makes you happy? It could just be the most little thing ever. All right, just stay happy, please. Don't be sad, don't be depressed, don't worry. Challenges of life, it comes and goes. It's just for a short time, and before you know, everything will be fine. Everything is always fine. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. Never forget that. Thank you so much for joining us on Find Happiness. We'll see you soon with another amazing guest. Thank you so much, Angel, for coming. We love you.
Yeah. Love y'all too. Peace.